this economy, is there really anyone out there who can be dropping $80 on a not even guaranteed PNG of their favorite boy? Maybe, but they're certainly not me, and I don't think they're you either if you've clicked on this video. So if you're looking to fill your gem bank without draining your real one, you're in the right place. We'll be going over all sorts of ways to get gems and keys for free, and along the way we'll be tallying up a conservative yearly estimate so we can see just how many summons we're actually getting. Now, I'm assuming you already know that to get most new cards, SSRs in particular, you'll have to roll the dice in a summoning session on the card you want's specific showcase, which requires using either gems or keys in varying amounts, depending on how many times you'd like to summon. I imagine you also know that for most of these showcases, the featured card is not a guaranteed drop until the 200th summon, even though the hard penny mark for getting any SSR card in the pool is every 100 summons. In some instances though, like in the birthday showcases, the featured card is guaranteed at 100 and not 200. Because of this variance, for our estimating purposes, we'll be counting the total amount of max pity SSRs and not max pity featured SSR cards. This estimation will also ignore the probabilities of certain event variants, like those where the featured SSR cards are in separate showcases, but the pity gauge is shared between them, and events that give out tokens when you summon that you can exchange for a key that will let you get a second SSR card for free. In these cases, and technically in all showcases, you can get more SSR cards with less gems depending upon your luck and when the SSR cards drop. However, figuring in that sort of RNG for our estimate is way above my pay grade. So in this video, to make the math applicable to everyone, we'll just be counting every 100 summons gained as an SSR card gained. This will keep our estimate conservative, but should still give us a good idea of what we will be getting in exchange for our time. So, now that we're all on the same page, let's start with our very first gem saving tip. Narrow your focus. You gotta pick a boy, or two, or maybe just a few to focus your efforts on. Doing so can significantly boost the chances of you getting the cards that you want. However, it can be really tough to choose a favorite with so many good characters in the game. If you want your gem bank to overflow though, you just gotta do it. There were roughly, and I do mean roughly because I lost count quite a few times, around 80-ish showcases last year that featured a unique SSR card. With the numbers I've run, there's no way a strictly free-to-play player would be able to pick up all 80-ish unique SSR cards. You'd have to be the incarnation of a luck god for that to work, and even then, I think it would still be a challenge. However, this isn't as much of a problem if you've narrowed your focus. Out of those 80-ish showcases, I was only worried about 12 of them given my target characters, and that is a much more manageable number. Narrowing your focus like this will also give you more time to stock up on gems and keys, since your target showcases will likely be spread out. This doesn't guarantee getting all of the cards you want, but it will give you better odds overall, since you'll probably have at least 100 summons saved up by the time your showcase rolls around. Out of my 12 target showcases, I was able to snag 7 of the limited SSRs, and I ended up wishing on a couple other showcases where I snagged a few more. In total, I ended up getting 12 SSR cards, with 11 of them being the featured characters. So not too far off from my target, even if some were not characters I typically go for. Now, once you've got your focus narrowed, you'll need to get the gems and keys required to summon. When gathering the free versions of these resources, there are 2 different categories that gathering methods can fall under: repeatable and non-repeatable. They are exactly what they sound like and function as such, with both being equally as important. Within these 2 categories are various resource gathering methods, all of which overlap with their exact context, creating their repeatability. We'll be diving into each of these in both categories, but we'll start with the lowest effort method, the login bonus. There is a repeatable stamp rally login bonus that will trigger automatically when you log into the game. Each week, this rally will award you with 60 gems, which will, along with the other rewards, be immediately added to your inventory. The only time this rally is different is when you've just started the game, as you will be rewarded with a few more gems. I've also heard, but cannot personally confirm, that if you haven't played in a while, your stamp rally might also look a bit different and will include a key of some sort to help you catch up. Regardless of what your unique situation is, you can count on this login bonus to reliably give you at least 60 gems each week, which will get you 2 whole summons. If you logged in every day for a whole year, you'd have 3,120 gems or 104 summons from this rally alone. Pretty good for doing nothing but opening the game, right? There are also special login bonuses throughout the year that will get you additional rewards on top of this stamp rally. For each character's birthday, you will receive 1 keyring upon logging into the game, with Jade and Floyd's shared birthday netting you 2 total instead. While these login bonuses are tied to the Birthday Bash events, the keyrings are generic so you can use them in any showcase. Birthday Bash events happen each year on each character's birthday, and so far the login rewards have remained consistent, so these birthday keys count as repeatable. You can receive 22 keyrings in this matter for a total of 220 summons. Keys and keyrings can't be converted to gems, and the reverse is technically true, so our running tally will be converted into total summons to keep things simple. With these keys included, we're already up to 324 summons or 3 guaranteed SSR cards. But did you know that you also count as a Birthday Bash event? If you've set your in-game birthday, you'll not only receive a special birthday message from your favorite character when you log in on that day, but you'll also receive a keyring. You can set this date to not your birthday if you want to get the keyring earlier, but I don't recommend doing so since, in my opinion, getting the birthday message on your actual birthday is a bit more impactful. Also, fun fact, if you happen to forget to change your favorite character in your profile before your birthday, or you just want to hear what everyone else had to say, you can review every character's special birthday message in the Game Settings, Archive, Misc Stories, and then tap the birthday series you've unlocked to pick a character message. With all of that said, you do get that keyring from this, bringing our total to 334 summons. There are also other special login bonuses for in-game events, like for news story content celebrations, as well as for real-world events like Anime Expo and manga releases. These bonuses vary depending on the event specifics, but generally give out some form of gems or keys. Because events fluctuate year to year, and none of these events are truly guaranteed to repeat, these types of bonuses count as non-repeatable. Since there is a lot of variance, we're going to wait to tally these into our estimate until later, when we cover the other event-related freebies. But if you're curious if a particular event has one of these login bonuses, make sure to check the notices ahead of time as they'll generally detail if there will be one and how long it will run for. Sometimes the items will be detailed, like they were for the manga release promotion of Hearts Level Book 4, and sometimes you'll only get a partial overview of the rewards, like for the in-game anniversaries. Speaking of, while I did say that the event login bonuses are non-repeatable, there is one exception: the game's anniversary. During these events, you can typically get enough gems or keys to do a 10 pull, but it does vary. The first anniversary gave out 330 gems, but I don't believe it gave out any keys. However, last year, it gave out 240 gems, and I think there was a key or two that was not tied to the anniversary specifically, but as you can see here, you were able to get anniversary-specific 10-fold key sets during very specific times during the event. Given this track record, for our estimation purposes, we're going to add in a 10 pull for the login bonus piece of the anniversary to bring our total summons up to 344. Now, the gems that we have collected so far from our login bonuses can be optimized via SAM, but we technically wouldn't have enough to do so during our first hypothetical month without our in-game missions, so let's take a look at those first. Missions are tasks that you can complete for rewards which run the gambit from daily activities to event-specific ones. You can kind of think of missions as achievements, and because of this, missions are a little nebulous. They cover a lot of ground and a variety of systems, so not only do they fall under both of our categories, but some specific types of missions technically fall under both simultaneously. From a purely repeatable perspective, there is only one type of mission, the weekly mission, which run Monday to Sunday regardless of when you've decided to pick up the game. The same missions are always available during this time frame and will reward you with 60 gems upon total completion. This will also unlock a special gem package in the gem refill shop, but we do not care about that here. We only care about the free gems, and at least in this instance, they aren't hard to get as all of the weekly tasks are things you're likely to be doing anyways. Take a certain number of lessons, win 5 exams, play 5 Twistunes, and you'll get your 60 gems. In fact, you'll probably get these finished in a day or two, meaning that over the course of a year, you'll have gained another 3,120 gems or another 140 summons, bringing our total up to 448. Now, under the General tab, you'll find a ton of other missions that are all related to different gameplay systems. You've got rewards for card leveling, lessons, exams, Twistunes, the Guestrooms, logins, and a few for account setup too if you're new. These are technically repeatable in that there are various iterations of these milestones that you can keep hitting to keep getting rewards. However, not all of these missions repeat like this, and even the ones that do don't always give out gems and keys all of the time. However, all general missions will give out gems and keys at some point, so they can be a nice steady income. With that said, though, these missions are also non-repeatable. Each general mission has a limited number of iterations, so once you've completed all iterations of a specific mission type, it will be removed from the General tab. This is why I don't have the Twistoon missions anymore since I've hit that cap. However, there is hope, as during the 2nd anniversary more missions were added in the new functions piece of Part 2, which included an increase to some of the pre-existing mission caps. If this sort of increase becomes a trend, then there should be plenty of missions to complete for a long time. Each general mission type progresses in a slightly different manner with different rewards at different milestones. However, type families, like the exam missions, will give out the same rewards in the same cadence as one another. I find that exams can be a really good and reliable source of gems, since you can stock up on moon shards and use them when you're getting close to a milestone to cash in some gems if you're in a pinch. Also, it can be beneficial to use limited time event cards to reach the max spell level milestones, as some event cards' spell levels are increased with event materials and not spellbooks. These materials are readily available during the event and generally don't take as long as spellbooks to acquire, so you can raise these cards' spell levels quite quickly. But regardless of what you decide to target in general missions, every little bit will count in pursuit of your free gems, and most of these missions can be completed passively as you play Twist. Because the various milestone reward progressions are a nightmare for my not very math-minded brain to tally, and because depending on how long you've been playing the game, some of these may no longer be an option for you, we're going to exclude the gems and keys gained from general missions from our estimate. So your yearly gem tally could be a bit higher than what we're calculating if you complete a bunch of these. In a similar vein to general missions, there are non-repeatable, character-specific missions which are tied to lessons. In normal lessons, each character has a set of missions, called tasks, which you can complete by taking lessons with them. At certain milestones, you'll be rewarded with 30 and 50 gems respectively, netting you a total of 80 gems per character, or 1,840 for completing all characters with Grim, or 1,920 total if you also have Rolo. However, since you need to complete 1,000 normal lessons with each character to get the 50 gem reward, getting the whole kit and caboodle will take a while. I would recommend focusing on the 6 task, 100 lesson, 30 gem milestone first to get a nice 660 gems with the base 22 characters. You can then take your time reaching the 50 gem milestone for the other 1,100 or more depending on if you have Grim or Rolo. Since different folks may or may not have Grim, and may or may not have Rolo, and may or may not have hit certain milestones, we're going to exclude these from our estimate too. Now with characters come cards, and those cards might have vignette stories. Each card rank comes with a different number of story parts, but each part will reward you with 5 gems once you've completed it. You can get a tidy 5, 10, or 15 gems from a card from unlocking and reading these vignette stories. Since you must do this to unlock revivification for these cards, these gems are basically guaranteed. However, you will only receive these rewards once during the first reading of a vignette story, so these gems are a finite resource, making vignettes technically a non-repeatable source. Depending on your card collection though, you can net quite a few. Just make sure that if you want these gems, you double check an SSR card showcase details, as some cards don't have vignette stories and instead have furniture recipes. I also recently learned, thanks to one of you lovely viewers, that certain R and SR cards, like the ones you get for free during events, also don't have vignette stories and have furniture instead. If you're curious about which cards do what, check the event or showcase notice, as those should note this difference for all cards. Have I ever actually read through these before? No, but you should do as I say and not as I do if this matters to you. Crafting a card's special furniture won't reward you with any gems, so make sure you're aware of what you're getting into when you're summoning. Now, because vignettes are card-specific, non-repeatable, and are entirely dependent upon what you've collected, these rewards are also going to be excluded from our estimate. Speaking of stories, the main story will also reward you with varying amounts of gems during the story and a key once you finish the book. Some of these rewards are given in the actual story chapters, while others are given in the missions tab. But regardless of which place you're getting them from, you can only get them once. So this is a non-repeatable gem source. If you're curious, these are the current gem totals available for finishing the books in EN, which can currently be completed. Book 7 is still chugging along, but given the upward trend, it'll probably give out a decent chunk of gems. As with the other non-repeatable missions thus far, these will be excluded from our total estimate. But you can get 1,070 gems and 7 keys for 42-ish summons from completing these. Now, during the main story and some event stories, you'll have to clear Twistune minigames in order to progress. Once you've cleared a song in the main story, it'll be available for play in the Twistunes tab and will have additional tasks for you to complete. These are non-repeatable, technically, and finishing all tasks for a specific song will net you 30 gems along with some other rewards. Slight spoiler incoming! Book 6 also has minigames that I'm not going to show, but they have similar missions which will net you 30 gems a pop. Now, I did say that these are technically non-repeatable, and that is true. However, limited time Twistune event songs are a teeny bit different. During these events, special Twistunes can be played through the events page, and once the event ends, those songs are added into the Twistune screen for all applicable players. These songs have the same missions as the main story Twistunes and will also get you 30 gems apiece. But because these are linked to the limited time event, they are technically unique to that instance of the event. If a Twistune event has an encore, the encore event will create a new unique instance of the Twistune with unique instances of all the same tasks. So you can get another 30 gems from clearing these tasks in the encore tunes, technically netting you 60 gems total for one song. In this way, certain Twistunes are repeatable. However, there is no guarantee that a specific event will have an encore, so I wouldn't bank on these being a steady income source. However, encores have and will likely continue to happen, so it's good to be aware of. Since the main story Twistune rewards may have already been collected by veteran players, and the number of event Twistunes is variable, these gems will be, unfortunately, excluded from our estimate. And as much as I'd like for event Twistunes to be a segue into event missions, I do have to make an honorable mention first. While not as influential as some of the other methods, it is worth noting that you can get 20 gems and 2 magical keys from leveling up your Guestroom rank to 9, 20, and 30 respectively. You're going to want to gather up those room medals for your general missions, and upgrading your room will let you do that a tad faster, so it's nice getting these bonuses along the way. With that out of the way, we can move into event missions! During limited events, there are usually non-repeatable event-specific missions that you can complete for various rewards, including gems and keys. The rewards will disappear with the event once it's over, so if you want a piece of the pie, make sure to participate. Sometimes the missions will be tucked away in a special tab in the missions page, or they'll be integrated into the events page, as is the case with stamp missions. Regardless of where they can be found, though, the amounts they give will vary depending upon the event specifics. Some events come in a series, like the Culinary Crucible or training camps, so in a way these events and their missions are technically repeatable. However, each instance will be a new one, so it's not like you're repeating the same Crucible, although the missions are same between Crucibles. It's a little funky. There are some others, though, like White Rabbit Fest or Stitch's Tropical Turbulence, which may or may not get an encore, so their missions are technically, for now, non-repeatable. During all sorts of events, though, there are limited time shops which will offer a variety of rewards, including, sometimes, keys. The reward amounts and varieties also depend upon the event specifics, so nothing is quite guaranteed. Even though events and their mission rewards vary year to year, we do have a couple years worth on EN to reference for our estimating purposes. Assuming that our hypothetical player participated in and cleared all of the missions for the 2023 events, and purchased all available limited shop keys that didn't require gems, we can add those gems and keys to our total to give us a better yearly estimate. I like to think that this makes up for the other stuff we didn't include, as any dips in event gains could be supplemented with other missions previously discussed. However, I must confess that math is not my strong suit, and I also wasn't able to find or just wasn't looking in the right place to see all of the event reward data, but since we're running a conservative estimate to give ourselves an idea of what's possible, anything I missed would just be extra gains. From what I was able to pull, we'd have another 3,190 gems and 93 summons from keys and keyrings. 2023's events would give us around 199 summons. And if we combine this with our other accumulated rewards, we'd be at 647 total summons, or roughly 6.5 max pity SSR cards. While this isn't too shabby, I'm sure you'd like a little more bang for your buck. And if it's a deal you want, Sam, you must see. If we keep our event earnings separate from our guaranteed login bonuses and weekly mission totals, we'd roughly have 6,240 gems total, or 480 gems a month. We can stretch our 480 gems by visiting Sam and purchasing his discounted key bundles in the gem shop. These are limited to one a month, but will give you keys and keyrings at a discount, meaning we can get more summons with less gems. The keyring bundle is 250 gems, saving you 50 gems on the 10 pull, and the key bundle gives you 3 keys for 50 gems, saving you 40. A year's supply of keyrings would run you 3,000 gems, but gives you 20 extra pulls that you would not have had if you were just spending those gems alone. Additionally, the keys would run you 600 gems total, that would give you 16 extra pulls. If we buy both bundles from Sam with our cumulative gems, we'd have 156 key pulls and 2,640 gems, or 88 summons, left over. Adding this to our birthday and events would put us up to 683 total summons. But wait, there's more! Sam's Exam Token Shop also has 3 keys for sale each month. Purchasing these doesn't require subtracting from any of our other totals, so we can add another 36 summons to our yearly estimate. That brings us to the grand total of 719 total summons from gems, keys, and keyrings. If we had to go to max pity for every SSR card we received, we'd be guaranteed 7 each year, assuming we had enough summons to reach the 100 pity mark in each showcase that we summoned in. In reality, you likely won't have to reach this pity mark every time you get an SSR card. Since the summoning process is based on RNG, it's the very definition of a mixed bag. Sometimes you'll get very lucky and pull the featured card in only 50, 30, or even 20 pulls. And sometimes you'll be at 150 or more and still not have gotten the featured card, so it's a bit of a balancing act. Though, considering what I've been able to accumulate over the past few years, and our 719 summon estimate, the odds aren't all that bad for free-to-play folks. Depending on what you get from some of the other resources, like general missions and vignettes, your year's gem total will likely be higher, so you'll be getting even more summons and potentially more SSR cards. If you're a brand new player, you'll be getting a boatload more in your first year since you'll have everything that we talked about open to you. But I think regardless of player status, we still have one question left to answer, and that is, how much money are we actually saving by gathering these free gems? If you were to purchase a similar amount of summons with your cold hard cash, you'd have to spend around $1,405.76 pre-tax. That's like an entire paycheck down the drain. However, I don't say this with any judgment to the folks who do spend that kind of cash on Twist. If you have the money and you want to spend it here, you're more than welcome to do so. And I've spent money on the game before too, but it was nowhere near $1,000. And I will hold on to my last 50 pay gems until my dying breath. Probably. We'll see what the future has in store. But for now, I hope that you've enjoyed discovering a year's worth of free gems with me and are ready to go hoard some gems for yourselves. If you had a good time, please leave a like or a comment or maybe even a subscribe. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future or have something specific you'd like to see me cover, please let me know below. Now, before you go, I'd just like to remind you that you're amazing and I hope you have a wonderful day.